Hey there! Ever wonder what makes a story, really stick with you? We've all heard rambling accounts that just fizzle out. But a great story? That's different. There's a kind of magic to it, but it's not random at all. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the actual blueprint of a great story, the core pieces that make them so incredibly powerful. All right, let's get into it.
So, let's start with the big question. What actually makes a story a story? Because it's obviously more than just this happened, then this happened. A real story has a shape, it has a purpose, and it has an effect on us. You can almost think of it as this ancient technology we humans invented to make sense of the world, and it all hinges on one simple but really powerful idea.
And here it is. This is the secret sauce. At its very core, a story is about one thing: change. It's a journey that follows someone who's trying to get something, and it shows us how the events they run into completely transform them or their situation. That element of transformation, that change, that's the absolute heart of every single story ever told, from a huge blockbuster movie to a fable you tell a kid at bedtime. Okay, so let's think of ourselves as master builders for a second. Before you can construct anything amazing, you need the right materials. And for a story, that means gathering a few essential, non-negotiable ingredients. These are the absolute foundational pieces we're going to use to build our narrative. First up, you've got to have the who, the characters. They are the living, breathing heart of the story, because a story needs someone to happen to. It could be a brave hero, a cunning villain, or heck, even a talking fox. These characters are our way in. They're the reason we actually care about what's happening. Next, we need the setting. This is the where and the when of it all. Is our story happening in a neon-drenched futuristic city, a magical ancient forest, or maybe just a quiet suburban home back in the 1980s? The setting isn't just wallpaper, It creates the whole mood, it influences the characters, and sometimes it can even be the source of the problem itself.
And here we have it, the engine of every single story: conflict. This is the central struggle, the big problem standing in our character's way. And it comes in all shapes and sizes. It could be a massive, external battle against a monster or society itself, or it could be a deeply personal, internal battle against your own fear. Without that struggle, there's no journey, no change, and no story. Period. It's the force that pushes everything forward.
And finally, we have the theme. If conflict is the engine, then the theme is kind of like the destination. It's the why of the story, the big idea or the message it's exploring underneath it all. Is it a story about love conquering all, the corrupting nature of power, the importance of courage? The theme is what makes a story stick with you long after you've finished it.
Okay, so we have our ingredients, right? We've got characters, setting, conflict, and theme. But just throwing them all in a pile doesn't make a story. We need a plan. We need an architectural blueprint to give it structure and momentum. And that plan, that is the plot. It's the blueprint for the entire journey.
Now, this 5-step journey is a classic for a reason. You will find this structure pretty much everywhere. It's all about managing tension. The beginning sets the whole scene. Then the rising action steadily builds that tension as the conflict gets bigger and bigger. It all explodes at the climax. That's the crucial turning point of the whole story. From there, the falling action helps us process what just happened before the resolution gives us a new normal. It's a roller coaster of emotion, and this is the track it rides on.
Now that we have the blueprint, let's see how all these pieces come together out in the real world. Because I promise you, once you know what to look for, you will see this structure absolutely everywhere, from the grandest tales to the simplest little ideas. And it doesn't matter what you're reading, whether it's an ancient myth about gods and monsters, a super sharp and focused short story, or a huge, sprawling novel with dozens of characters. These core components are always at play. The scale might change, but the anatomy of the story, it stays the same. Just look at this concept. It's not even a full sentence, but it's already a story just waiting to happen, isn't it? You immediately imagine the character, this talented person. You feel the internal conflict, that fear. You can probably start to picture a setting where this all plays out. The theme might be about overcoming self-doubt. See? The ingredients are already there.
Now, this one is a great example of how a hero doesn't even have to be human. I mean, think about it. A pencil's goal is to create something. Its conflict, getting dull, breaking, or being lost. The climax could be that final sharpening for one last important word before it's gone forever. It might sound a little silly, but the emotional structure, it is all there. This blueprint is so powerful because it's just so adaptable. You can use it to tell a simple fable with a really clear moral, like The Lion and the Mouse, where the theme is basically that kindness is never wasted.
Or it can frame a profound true story of resilience and the human spirit, like The Diary of Anne Frank. The emotional weight is totally different, but the architecture is exactly the same.
So, we've deconstructed the story, we've seen all its parts, but the goal here isn't just to be able to analyze stories, it's to understand the power that you now have. This isn't just for writers or filmmakers, this is a tool for understanding how we all communicate.
So let's do a quick recap of our storytelling toolkit. You need the who and the where, your characters and setting. You need the why it's hard and the what it all means. That's the conflict that drives them and the theme that gives it meaning. And of course, you need the how it happens, the plot that weaves everything together. Master these 5 elements, and you basically hold the keys to the entire kingdom of narrative.
And that's really the big takeaway here. Stories are everywhere. They're in your own life, they're in the news, they're in the jokes you tell your friends. Now that you have the blueprint, you can not only see them more clearly, but you have the tools to tell your own. So, the only question left is, what story will you tell?